Good morning, everybody. Happy cold coffee. It's not even nice cold coffee. And the guy made a mess. I don't know if you can even see. He overfilled it, spilt it everywhere when he was making it. Yeah. Disaster coffee, maybe a prelude to a disaster stream. You never know. Oh, why is my top chat? I hope I don't lose all my thing. No, I didn't. Good. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Good morning, Andy. Okay. It's a bit cold in here. I had the heater on before and it was too hot. So then I just turned the heater off and now it's too cold. Can't win. I've turned it back on again. Yeah. I'm a bit nervous. This is premature today. Not quite ready, but I'm doing it anyway. How's everyone's week been? Good? I hope it's been good. We'll get into this stuff in a moment. I want to just wait for more people to join. Having some lighting issues at the moment. I've spent the last 40 minutes just trying to get a level of lighting that I can demo this thing and use it on camera on my DSLR, which is just here, which is pointing down to the desk, without it going all blurry. Like the lower I make the light in here, the better it looks to view, but because there's not enough light coming in, it opens up the aperture, which means when there's a lot of RGB light being displayed, everything goes dark around it, and then when it stops, everything changes. So it's constantly moving between the aperture changing, the amount of light coming in, which just looks terrible. And if I lock it to not do that, then it's got stacks of motion blur, which looks terrible. So I can't win. Pretty much everyone here who ever plays with RGB LEDs knows that RGB LEDs and cameras don't work. Just it's a bad combination. But I'll do my best. It just means I'm going to have to demo it with a lot of light. Like you can see now, it's quite bright in here. I've got all my lights on, or almost. Not those ones. 1, 2, yeah. But still, it's too light. It's going to make it look way bright. But anyway, best I can do. I've got to stop stressing over this thing. Okay. I'm contemplating going downstairs and making a coffee while I wait for people to join, but I won't. I'll keep drinking my cold coffee. That's okay. That's fine. So I've been, yeah. I said I'd do this last week, so I'm doing it. But I'm not quite ready to do it. So, there's a lot of stuff to show. I mean, the thing itself is done, but the firmware that I'm playing with on it isn't. But we'll get into all of that. Yeah, we'll get into all that. Okay, we're up to 56 concurrent viewers. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes, and then we'll say hi to everyone in the chat, and then we'll get going. Get this over and done with. Just grab the band-aid, whip it off. Oh, just found you via the watch. Oh, Awesome. Hey, Drew. Well, glad to have you here. And to anyone that's new here, awesome. Um, Daniel, no, I didn't. I just started, just a few minutes ago, 5 minutes ago. Why is I can't focus on the text. What's going on? I've had some weird issues with my eyes over the last couple of weeks, where like I'll put my glasses on in the morning. I hate these glasses. I hate the look. Anyway, whatever. But they're multifocal. They're not they're multi. But they're pretty extreme range of focal points. Hang on, just gonna clean them a bit, maybe. So I'm just stalling. Yeah, you'll all have to accept it. It's just stalling. Anyway, so obviously as I lift my head up and down, it changes focus, but really extreme, like quite close to quite far. Not because I have an eyesight problem, but because, as you're all aware, I do everything from looking at a screen and looking at things normally to looking at things really close, little tiny things really close. And I used to cycle between three pairs of glasses all the time, which was really painful, especially when you leave a pair at home or whatever else. And so I moved to these multifocals. But what's been happening is sometimes I'll, like in the morning, especially in the morning, I'll put my glasses on and I'll go, oh, that's blurry. So I start doing this, right, because it changes focus. And it's all blurry. And just sometimes my eyes are just blurry for like an hour, and then all of a sudden they're not blurry anymore. You should go to sleep, but doing... Oh, you should go to sleep. Right, no, you shouldn't go to sleep. You should stay awake. My stream's going. You should stay awake. Yeah, I really don't like multifocals. They, when you turn your head sideways, everything on the sides does this. It's really bad because I got two screens in front of me, and so as I move from one screen to the next, things wobble on the sides, and it's really not too. Yeah, I've tried wearing contacts. I can't wear contacts, so I've tried several times, but sustain eye drops. I'm not sure if it's an eye drop thing. I don't know, maybe. I mean, I can... Yaz, my wife, for those that aren't aware, she wears contacts. She's got stacks of eye droppy stuffy things, but yeah. Ooh, Johnny's moving into his new house tomorrow. Well then go, I hope you've packed. Go pack. Lee, welcome to getting old. I'm already old. I'm much older than a lot of people realise. And yes, your eyesight just gets worse and worse and worse. Although I've been told many times that my eyes are pretty good for my age, but still, I strain them a lot, going from really tiny, small detail to thing, yeah. So I abuse my eyes. Okay, we've gone over 60 concurrent. We should get this started. So let me go through and say hi to folks in the chat. The last stall for the day. Tabletronics, woot. I don't know if you're still here. You wrote that really early this morning. I haven't seen you for a while. I hope you're well. Antonio, hello. Deshipu, hi. Yumbo Prime, hello. Gerald42, Alan, hi. Dutch Taurus, Braden, hello. Rat Madness, hello. Graham, hi. Sorry, I'm just all over the place. Beata, Squeak. Kevin, hello. Hababao, hi. No, this is jumped again. Daniel, already said hello. Jeremy. Andy, hi. Sid, hello Sid. David SR, hello Peter. John Clayton, hello. X Micron. Drew, okay, I need to make my text bigger. What is going on? And it jumped. Waiting for that. Didier, hello. Helio, hi. Peter, good morning, Peter. David Watts! What? I'm not 41. I wish I was 41. I looked in the mirror last night and thought I was 75. Hello, David. I hope you're well. It is the best thing I've ever made. I think it's the best thing I've ever made. There's going to be a lot of caveats before I even show anyone anything. I'm going to get you all to write, to sign disclaimers. Lee, hello, Lee. Hello, Johnny. I've jumped everywhere now, so I don't know where I'm up to. M. Blair, hi. If I caught everyone? I don't know if I missed anyone. It's jumped around a bit. Okay, whatever. I think I've got everyone. It's enough stalling. Okay, everyone go outside, go to your mailboxes. I've sent you all disclaimers. You all have to sign them. No. So, it'll be quick, but a bit of background. I've been actually working on this thing, like physically in my hand, for just over 8 months. I've not been working on it solidly for 8 months because there's been, my usual procrastination and other things to do, and there's also been a lot of revision and changes on it. And it just started out as I wonder if this would work. Not work as something, just if this would work, if this technique would work. And when I realized it did, it turned into, oh my God, what am I going to do with this? And that's when the doubt and uncertainty kicked in. But I actually thought of this idea 17 months ago. Or I thought of trying to solve it, and I didn't know, I couldn't work out how to solve it. Yeah, you've all signed NDAs. It's all done. Yeah. You don't know. I signed for you. I signed on your behalf. No, this has nothing to do with a robot arm. No, that's over there. No. So it took a while to work out how to do it. Now, I need to say, as I said, I think this is the best thing I've ever designed and made. Not the most advanced thing, not the most detailed thing, not the tiniest components or the smallest item. And it's not about any of that. There aren't many people that have seen it, that have held it and played with it. But those that have, as soon as I've handed it to them and they've started using it, I have never seen so much delight on someone's face as what I've seen when people start using this thing. And that's been an amazing experience. I haven't shown it to that many people. I mean, I've taken it to the nuts and bolts place up the road where I get all my nuts and bolts from, because they keep asking me, what do I do for a living? Why am I always asking for these obscure size nuts and stuff? And so I took it to them and I handed it to them, and like, they had customers at their front bench that they walked away from, and they all came around and started playing with it. And they were all just like, yeah, can I get one of these? 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 Like, it didn't even do anything at the time, right? There's a level of delight and joy. But I have no idea what it is. It's got no purpose, right? And that's why I've been stuck. I've been stuck on a fence. My production boards are downstairs, my stencils are downstairs, and I've been ready to start manufacturing. What I'm going to show you today looks like the final product. Inside, it's slightly different now, but functionality-wise, it's exactly the same. But I've yet to start making them because I don't know what this is. And so I've been reluctant to show anyone, but I guess I should. I guess I should start, right? So here definitely a milkshake maker. No, it's not. Massive tease. So, good, it's off. I'm leaving it off. Now, here we go. So, this is it. What? Is that all? So it's called RGB Touch. It did have a different name. And this is, well, I guess I should show you. Which camera shall I do it on? Okay, we'll do it here to start with.
Unexpected maker. Play.
This is a capacitive touch RGB pad. Okay, I'm going to put it under the DSLR. It'll be much easier to show. If I can get the right... Yes, I do. Okay. There we go. As you can see, this looks terrible under the DSLR. I'm just going to... So, by the way, it's running off battery, in case you hadn't noticed. But I am going to plug it in, because I'll forget. Okay, it's now plugged in. It'll charge when it's off, so there's an off button.
Super chat!
Thanks, crazy boy. It's a coffee coaster. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend putting your coffee on it. Okay, so did everyone hear the audio? I'm not sure if it's loud enough. Let me... Okay, I don't even know where to start. Let's... Yeah, okay, good. So, it's a 12 by 12 RGB matrix, and it's got capacitive touch. It can do multiple fingers, but it doesn't do multi-touch. So before anyone asks, it doesn't do finger tracking. It can't do finger tracking. So it's got that typical, you touch 2 points and you get the ghosting, right? It's super gentle to touch. It's quite nice to play with. It's got built-in I2S audio amplifier with a speaker built in. The speaker is on the side. It's got a spot for a battery, although I won't be shipping them with a battery. It's got an IMU inside it, just a 3-axis IMU. Put magnet connection. Yeah. Okay, so I'm quite happy for people to throw out ideas about stuff like that, Lee, but no. Okay, let me just say, yeah, what I'm showing today is just this. Is there more with this than just this? Absolutely. But I'm not going to go into that today. Or maybe I will later, I don't know. But no, these can't be edge-aware. They can't be next to each other. There's no, like, anyway, because it's designed to be held. Anyway, so IMU, 3-axis, only 3-axis, audio, obviously battery charging, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, the usual stuff. And I'm just going to start using it and show you. So, push and hold in the middle.
Menu.
Takes you to a menu. The icons, well, still playing with that. So, there are different modes. Bit hard to see with the, see the lighting changes. Then you've got a settings screen.
Settings.
Okay, we've got audio, actually.
Volume.
So I can adjust the volume.
Saved.
Brightness control. Wi-Fi, we'll go into in a moment. I haven't got this going yet, but that's for device orientation. So if you use it upside down, you know, like an iPad where you pick it up and you whatever. And then different modes. So for instance, this is beeps.
Beeps.
This is just a demo. All this software, yeah, my kids just love playing with it. Yaz loves playing with it. Everyone that touches it
Menu.
just can't stop playing with it, right? Yeah, you don't do it via touch. So these are just different modes. So
Magic sand.
this is Magic Sand mode, right? So, oops, a bit hard to see with this lighting. We've all seen Magic Sand, right? But what this can do that the other ones can't do is this. You can control the sand. So these are really just demos showcasing what you can do.
Menu.
Piano.
Piano.
I can't play piano very well. You got 2 octaves of. Anyway,
Menu.
this is just for fun. This is called bounce. If just drag back and click. Boop, boop, boop. Anyway, actually, I haven't tried clear. This software is very unfinished,
Menu.
and this is Ripples, which doesn't work right now, not properly. It was working, and then I broke it, and now I can't work out why it's not cycling the colors correctly. But I'll fix it at some point. It's also generating too many ripples, but whatever. So it's got an ESP32S3 inside it. So it's got Bluetooth, got Wi-Fi. It doesn't have a microphone. No. No microphone. Maybe for a future version.
Menu. Play.
Right. Anyway, so this is it. And yeah. So there's a lot of stuff on the firmware side I haven't got going yet. Can you mic via Bluetooth? Hey, Wagon Loads. I don't think so. No. Well, I mean, possibly. I don't know. Is that even a thing? Is that even possible? I don't know if that's a Graham. Oh my God. Oops, wrong product. Yeah. I've not even looked at chat. Sorry, I'm going back to chat just to have a look. Okay, so voice sound processing is way off. Yeah, there's no. So all the sound you're hearing is just pre-recorded audio. It can do. I mean, technically, you could get audio from online, like I do on Bling, but this is all happening offline, right? So I wanted it to have a basic set of audio. It's not using a speech synthesizer, right?
Super chat!
David, thank you. Thanks very much, mate. I appreciate that. It's I don't know, like, this doesn't do it justice, right? The visual that you're seeing right now is
Super
all...
chat!
What happened then? That happened twice. Cool. Let me do it twice. Like, it's all blown out. Look at my hand color and everything. Like, everything visually is blown out. It really looks much nicer. So there's lots still to do on the firmware side, although the firmware again is just demo. Like, this can be programmed to kind of do whatever you want. And there's a whole bunch of ideas that I haven't even got to looking at yet, but some pretty obvious ones, right? So you've got Bluetooth, so you've got Bluetooth HID, but there's also USB HID. So this could be an input device, a mouse, a trackpad. thing. It could be a, like a matrix keypad thing. It can be a MIDI interface. It could do two-way MIDI communication, like you could do visuals back from MIDI as well as going out. It's, and I've got a list. Like I've started putting together a. Well, I guess I should just. I've got a product page ready to go. Not that I've got any stock to sell, but I want to start taking or getting people to sign up. So I can't decide if I want to do. Oh my god! I can't decide if I want to do pre-orders or if I want to do a notify list. I've got more to show, by the way. I'm not finished yet. I'm not finished with what I want to show. Wow, we just lost like 20-something concurrent viewers. We just lost. Oh well. That ended quickly. What have I listed on this page? Right, here, mini games, wireless visual interactive communication device. I can't even spell. Communication. I wonder what a wireless visual interactive communication device would be. Your mouse all broke. Okay. So I'm going to show you something. This is early. What's your software plan? For people to go wherever they like on the ESP. So I've got a, well, the demo I've got right now, the firmware that I'm going to ship with it, which is this current demo, it started out just as a hodgepodge of different ideas of things, right? I've been redoing it all into a better code base, but it's got a lot of stuff in it, right? My plan is to rip most of it out and have so it's all done in Platform IO, which this is way too advanced to do in Arduino as an IDE, unfortunately. And Platform IO I know is a barrier for a lot of people. I have got MicroPython firmware. I've already set up a board specification, but it's not been submitted yet. I'll do one for CircuitPython as well. My plan is to have a template library, not a library. Well, it can't be a library. It'll be a project, Platform IO project that'll have all the basic functionality, like, touch control, visual control, and then people can do with it what they want. And my plan is to keep adding, I guess, example projects of things that it can do and expand on them over time. And then if people want to publish things that they're working on, whatever. So it's not a development board. It's not a development thing, right? It's not like you can't plug anything into it. It's got no ports. There's no I2C or whatever else or blah, blah, blah. But it's got a lot of functionality capability, right? So anyway, something I want to show. Yeah, all of it, Chris. So,
Menu. Settings. Starting.
okay. That's got Wi-Fi on. Here's one I prepared earlier. Ooh.
Menu. Settings.
Oh, Wi-Fi's already on. Excellent.
Play. Play.
Okay. I'm going to push the top left corner. This is just a demo.
Start.
And it's two-way.
Start.
How does the touch work? So, right now these are communicating via UDP, via the internet, via Wi-Fi. I was originally working on an ESP Now version of it. I will look at that. Device discoverability, all those things, lots of stuff that needs to be done. But the protocol I've designed for this can be, all of the data can be encoded into base64, which means it can be sent to the web. So this is doing point-to-point right now. If one of these devices is not on, this one will send, this one just will never receive it, it'll get lost, right? But the idea is to be able to store a message online and you can retrieve it later. Can you, oh God, do you remember that two-way chess? Yes, I do actually remember that, David. I do. I was thinking about that about 2 months ago. That and some other things. I found my old Seglement display box and had a nice smile and thought of you, and then thinking of all sorts of stuff that we were talking about at the time. Ship sinking. What? I do have a price point. I've got a product page ready to go, well, the start of a product page ready to go, which I might launch on stream in a moment. Something I want to mention though, this all came about, this talking back and forwards, led me to something else that I got all this working. Oh, battleships, yeah, that'd be cool. Or, I don't know, on a 12x12 display, possibly. This is using a custom, a custom protocol that I came up with, data format. But originally, I got this working with SACN, which is DMX, but over Wi-Fi. So DMX is normally Ethernet. For all of you aware what DMX is, that the protocol that allows you to, it's a controller protocol that you can control all sorts of things, including lighting and stuff like that. Hey, Christopher. So DMX is Ethernet normally, but there's a protocol, a standard called SACN, or little s ACN, which is designed over Wi-Fi. And so I've written support for that into this. That's how it started. I used to send them back and forward via ACN. So, well, okay, DMX doesn't have to be Ethernet, but generally communication for DMX would happen, if it's between devices, would happen over Ethernet. Well, that's my understanding. Anyway, that's not what I do. But, so I apologize if I got all that wrong. But what I do know is, so Cable Tie, who's a member on here, he's not online at the moment, or he might be listening from his car. DMX can be done for lighting, but people use it for other things, like robot control and all sorts of things. Basically, it's packets of data that you can put any type of information inside and send it. Like it's 500 and something individual bytes, like 500 something channels of information that can be sent, and you can do what you want with it. So I was originally encoding all the stuff into that. But anyway, Cable Tie, he works for a company that make lighting controllers, Ethernet-based lighting controllers that talk DMX. And so this started out, the whole making it do stuff started out as, can I use this as a controller to control, like to send information to DMX? What this is doing though, what you're seeing here,
Start.
is not me sending LED data. I'm physically sending the touch data. It's like someone did it physically on the device, which means you not only get the exactly the same thing in the same color, but in the same timing, right? Okay, once again, wagon loads, the question to that is if you program it to. It's an ESP32, it can be programmed to do anything you want it to do. So, will I be supplying Home Assistant code for doing that? No. That's pretty niche specific, but yeah. So this can actually do quite a long thing. Oh, I waited too long. Okay. So what happens is when you start recording, if there's a lull for 3 seconds, it stops and it sends. But you can go, yeah, I could have gone for longer. I was waiting too long in between. Whatever. The point is, right now you're not limited to how many packets of data being sent. So you can do quite long things. So, yeah. Could it be real time? You don't want it to. No, you don't want it to be real time. Well, no, it can't be. I'm not sure you're.
Super chat.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you. You don't want it to be real time because it's touch data, and the touch data is changing. Anyway, it's yeah, I'm not quite sure. Yeah, but real time transmission doesn't mean anything because what is it? This is real time transmission, right? But it's waiting till it's captured stuff because, okay, anyway, it can do whatever you program it to do, right?
LGRFBS says hi from Sweden.
Hello, welcome. Like, I know I say this a lot, but like asking a question like, can it do? The answer is always yes. Can it do? Yes. Will it do? Well, if you make it do it, right? If you make it do it, sure. Like, so, well, that's what I was saying before, Beata. So I've implemented the ability. Right now it can write it to base 64, but it's got nowhere to send it to. So I want to put together some type of online, something that can act like a relay. So communication can happen. Like this will only happen within a local area network right now. It's just a demo. This is all demo. Okay? Like right now, these have discovered each other because I've coded that they've discovered each other, right? But there is no discoverability right now. And then the other things you're going to look at is it's battery powered, but it's not designed to hold a very big battery. The batteries that it's designed to hold is something this size, right? 400, 500 milliamp hours. Because they need to fit in here and not get in the way of the touch. So will I make a bigger case in the future that can hold a bigger battery? I don't know. But as soon as you turn Wi-Fi on and you're running off battery, you're going to chew the battery, just like with any microcontroller project, right? Conversations like lots of PRs in my projects. Yeah. Yes, yes. Hey, Max. Have you got a name for it? Like an unexpected... Yeah. Oh, did you miss that at the start? Okay, so I'm just going to do this. I guess I'm going to release this. I'm going to release the product page. Except am I going to do... I can't decide if I'm going to do sign up or pre-orders. I'll just do sign up. Okay, sign up. I'm just going to make this public. I'm not adding any stock. You won't be able to buy it yet. You're about to find out. Save. It's a really limited product page. but I've got no other way of doing this right now. So, back to catalog. Okay. Here is the link. Terrible link. But it's called RGB Touch, or RGB Touch Mini in this case. David? So it was originally called, you ready for this? Oh, it was originally called, can everyone read that? Touch Me Mini. I love the name Touch Me. It freaked a lot of people out. But I was going to go with it anyway. I loved it. But unfortunately, there was already a product on the market, a music product, a touch-based music product called Touch Me. So I couldn't do it.
Geek says, greetings, mortals.
Hey, Quixotic Geek. Are you doing all the I'm doing all the 3D printing myself, the manufacturing myself. It will not come in a kit. It will not come. You can't print your own case. It doesn't come in parts. It comes as you see here. I've got a whole bunch of things to show you the evolution of it if anyone's interested. And hey, JF. Oh, I should probably just show it on here. That was, yeah. No. There we go. So the product page has one picture. That's the logo. So it's got specs on there. It's really not a lot of info. Where'd that... Oh, interesting. I had links to batteries. Where have they gone? Oh, I did not save the page. So I've added notify. I've been umming and ahhing on the price, but call it feel me. Yeah, it's not a feeling thing, it's a touching thing. But anyway, anyway, that's the product page for it. Sign up to be notified when I've got them available. Is touch not a feeling? Yeah, I think it implies the wrong thing though. Like it's a you're not feeling it, you're touching it. Like feeling it would be like it feels like it like it doesn't change how it feels. Anyway, whatever. I feel you could really drain the battery with a vibro motor. I could, but I won't. Okay, so back to here. So here's an early version that had haptics. Haptics doesn't work for it, unfortunately, Jishipu. The haptics doesn't feel right. So I've done a lot of experimentation. I'll show you some stuff that I've some past prototypes. No, it's not a size motor thing. NIM 17. I don't know how durable the top is. You know, this has had a lot of use, and it's still pretty good. It's just PCB on top. There's no cover. You know, so some people I've showed it to, they said, you know, you could stick some clear plastic over the top, something to protect it. Possibly it may interfere with the capacitive touch, it may not, I don't know. It's just PCB. It's solder mask on top, which is nice though because it gives you you can feel it's got texture, which is nice. I'll show you the insides of one in a moment. But anyway, so the problem with the haptics is the motor cannot be on the top panel at all. Unless it's right on the side in the corner, and then when you touch, it doesn't feel right because it vibrates wrong based on what you're touching. So it's got an on-off switch, on the side. You just can hold to turn it off. It's now off. So obviously no battery drain, but it's still, as I said, it still charges even when it's off. And then there is actually,
Unexpected maker. Play.
although I haven't enabled right now, my software will make it go into deep sleep mode, and it'll also, you can turn off the power to the LED matrix via code. So the plan is after 10 seconds of no use, of no touch, it'll turn off the LEDs, and that'll save the quiescent current off 144 LEDs. There's no charge LED indicator, no. Because like, where would you put it that would ruin the aesthetics, and can't really go on the side because the PCB. Anyway, whatever. So the idea is that it can dim the display first. It can turn off the LED power, which will save battery, and then it can go to sleep. Waking it up, I'm not sure if I can wake it up via touch at the moment, but it can always be woken up by the IO0 button if needs be. What? So what's hard to see on video? Dragon Loads, what you see here is what you see. This is it. Like, there's no battery pack connected anywhere else. This is it. This is what it is. It's gone. So let me just say, as I said, 8 months I've been working on this. A whole lot longer I've been thinking of it. Everything you could possibly think of right now has already had consideration by me. And so, you know, there is no easy, safe way to add an external battery pack. They're not quite 1 milliamp, but they do chew. Yeah, 144 of them do chew the current. Oh, right. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I mean, here, if I get if I get the right angle, there you go. So the PCB at the top is hatched. I've got a new version of this top, which I may or may not look at prototyping. I don't know. I've gone through a lot of different versions of these to get all this right. For example, the very first prototype I made. Very, very, very first. I'm going to show you some stuff now, because it's pretty cool. It's come a long way, and I'll tell you about its future. So this is in pieces. So this was just the proof. This is the original proof of concept. As you can see, a bit bigger, but still 12 by 12. And it runs off an external microcontroller. This was the original proof of concept. It was designed to be much thinner, but it was designed to be something that you connect a microcontroller to. But anyway, at least as a prototype. But it was messy. It worked great. So this prototype was just over 8 months ago. And then it's gone through a lot of iteration, but I came up with the idea about 16 months ago. So the problem with bigger, the initial problem with bigger was you could get your finger between the 2 points and nothing would light up, and it felt wrong. You couldn't necessarily go like this and have it go nicely, not like this does, right? But anyway, this was just a proof of concept, because the other problem was it needed a lot of space around it. Like, you can't put a battery in here. Hang on, let me go to the next. So the next one, the next revision of that was this, which is integrate the hardware, as you can see there, on the bottom corner, integrate the hardware onto the board, right? These connected via ribbon cable, which was a pain. Again, this worked great, but as you can see, I had to start making it bigger because I had to fit the electronics, but not enough space to stick a battery still inside it, right? So all of a sudden this was getting bigger and bigger, and it's kind of a nice size, but it didn't feel fun. It didn't feel fun to play with. So then I moved on to a smaller size, and this was the first revision of my small one. So as you can see, the space on the side for electronics, and then I brought the side out a bit to fit the speaker, but still not enough room to put a battery inside. As you can see there, it's a bit smaller, and it was way thicker than I wanted it to be. But that was the next iteration of it, and this is where I was playing with haptics. I stuck that there then, but what I was playing with was haptics inside. But the haptics inside just didn't work. Thanks, David. And then, of course, quite a few more iterations till I got to this version. And this was my final version, and then I realized that the aesthetics of the screws on top, can you even see them? There you go. You see the screws holding it together? I just hated it. The simplicity of building this was really good. Where are the pads? Can't give away all my secrets. Hold on, I'll get to it. I'll show you an open one in a moment. So this was the easiest for me to assemble, but it looks terrible. These screws on top, I hate it aesthetically. So then I spent a long time making it have no screws on top. And this is an absolute pain in the ass to assemble. But this is not the production version. This is the final version before production, which is this here. So I'm going to show you the inside, and I'll show you why this was a pain and how I fixed it. But I haven't made, so the ones that everyone will get will be the new version. So the way this works is, there's a little slot on the back here to be able to get in and take off. That is not a screwdriver. Where's my screwdriver? Hang on. There we go. Sorry, flathead screwdriver. Lift it off. So, no wire, no cable connecting the two. So there's an LED board, and there is a touch board. And so this is a touch board, and there's a whole bunch. These are all diffusers. Diffusers. So all of these here, you might not even be able to tell. These are all clear diffusers for the LEDs. That's why there's no color bleed. So they've all diffused with these. Let's take them all out. So that's the touch panel there. And so the touch pads are on top. And the touch works on an X by Y. LEDs are on the bottom with all the electronics. And the diffusers sit, there's a square on the bottom of each and clear on top. So they sit over each LED. And there is zero light bleed. And when they light up the tops. Yes, there was quite a few versions, unfortunately. Now, an interesting thing happened like a week ago, which has thrown a spanner in the works for me. So, the way these boards communicate to each other are via surface mount pogos. See, there's pogos there, and there's a pogo here. So when it's together, those pogos join the boards together. That's how. So there's no cable anymore, because that was quite difficult to work with. But the reason I didn't stay with this is this is not the production version, right? The production, so this version has the speaker connector here and the battery connector here. But the speaker and the battery live in here, which is on the other side, which means you've got wires going across when you put it together that have to get fed through these channels between the diffusers, and it's painful. And if you pull it apart to put a battery in, it's quite hard to get it back together again. So my final design that I go into production with, those connectors are actually on the top, at the back here, where the battery and the speaker is. And it now uses 2 sets of pogos to send it through. So there are no cables that go across anymore. Much easier to put together. But here's the thing. This current version and my production versions, this top is glued into the plastic. So it doesn't come out. That's one piece now. And the screws go through the back into insert nuts inside here. That's what holds it all together. Screws at the back. Can't come apart. It's great. It's fine. Nothing wrong with it. But, so I was looking into surface mount nuts that I could have put on the top instead of gluing, but I couldn't find the appropriate nuts that I needed to attach on here to have it work properly. But on my stream last week, when I was talking about surface mount nuts and stuff, one of the community members messaged me offline afterwards saying, have you looked at this type? And he pointed me to a type of surface mount nut that I've never seen before. And it will actually do what I want it to do, I think. So I've got some samples of those coming. Unfortunately, they won't work with this current top, my production top, because I don't have any solder mask there where they would need to go. So I might transition the top to those later, and that would mean the top doesn't have to get glued in. The top and the bottom will just get sandwiched with the surface mount nuts. I'm a bit worried though about the strength of the nuts and whether if people can accidentally crack them off. I don't know. This is quite durable, so I'm not sure if I'll make that change or not. But that's basically the construction of it. Right, these bits in here, and then that, and that's it. And there's obviously a speaker. It's got an 8 ohm speaker. It says it's a 2-watt speaker, but it's not really. And it's quite a small speaker, but as you can hear, it's got some decent sound.
Menu.
Like it's for a little tiny side mount speaker, it's pretty good. Yeah, I'm worried about the insert nuts. The problem with an insert nut is if it does get ripped off by a person, that's it. It's busted. Like their device is busted. Where this can't be broken. The way I construct this, it just means it's a bit more work for me assembling them. Thanks, Scott. It's been hard to keep a secret, but I've been really so I hadn't been, as I said, I haven't been wanting to show people or talk about it because I don't know what it is. What, you got to go? Catch you later, Quixotic. Thanks for joining. Thank you for joining. I don't know what it is. What is it? Is it a toy? Is it an ASMR device? Is it a... Like there's nothing original about it. It's a display with a touchscreen and sound. Yeah? Like... But there's something about it. It's not like...
John Clayton says, do you put those light pipes in manually?
What do you mean? Like when I assemble it, like these are 3D printed, and then they get put in when it all gets assembled together. Yeah. I mean, there's some assembly involved by me, for me to ship it, but that's okay. The now that I've solved the wires going across the thing, so it's not like, oh, here's a touchscreen, you know, and I can draw on the touchscreen, right? Or here's my phone or my watch, and it's not like that. It's not like touching a screen. Until you do it, like, I'm sure you can all imagine, you've all got great imaginations, right? But until you actually go up, sorry, let me just,
Menu. Play.
as soon as you do this and go, oh, it's just different. You can't get this experience on a screen. It's a different type of light. It's a different type of display. It's a different type of vibrancy. And it's a different tactile type feel. It just doesn't feel the same doing it on a screen as this. Okay, I don't know what that last message was. Hopefully it doesn't translate to something bad. Garage door, kid, adult toy. It could be any, that's the thing. It could be anything. And so I don't know what it is. Like, at least with a microcontroller board, right? At least with this board, we know what it is. It's a development board that you can program to do whatever you want, right? But this isn't. This is a something. Just don't know what. Like, I'm not a musician, right? So I managed to program it to play some notes on a piano type thing, right? As I showed before for those that...
Menu. Piano.
I'm not a musician. What's this useful for? I don't know. I don't know. But I'm sure there are people out there who play with MIDI and all sorts of stuff, could come up with something really cool with this, right? Like, yeah. Anyway. And I've only got that one example with the IMU right now, with the Magic Sand. But, oops, I just hit the reset button.
Magic Sand.
But you could do games with the IMU, right? Like, one of the things I wanted to do was,
Menu. Play.
like, maybe when you're in this mode, you can shake it and it changes the color or something. Oh, by the way, I should also mention, I'm going to have to reflash it to do this. Just hold on one second. It does some other things. There's so many things. I had this turned off because it's actually annoying when you don't want it on. Play mode. Oh, I'll give you a look at some of the code while I'm doing this. I'm not going to explain the code right now, but main. As you can see, it's quite a big code base. Go away. Anyway, and there's a lot of functionality that isn't quite there yet. Cycle, accept. So if so, it's still called the main class is still called Touch Me. Dot play. Oh my god, can't type. Play mode. No, check. Play mode. Play modes. So if I'm in the play, which is that first one, which got a terrible icon, I'm going to do touch. Wait, where did I find it? It is in touch. Right. Hold on a second. you'll see what I'm doing in a moment. Allow swipes. True. True. Else. So I've got swipe, like gesture tracking, but it's disabled at the moment because it gets in the way of showing stuff. Let me just reflash it. So while I'm reflashing it, there are other versions of this I'm working on. I might make an RGB touch, not a mini. That'll be either 17 or 18 pixels by 18 pixels. So 17 by 17 or 18 by 18. I don't know if it needs a mini and a normal. I don't know. I might. But one thing I am working on that I've been busting to tell everyone for ages, but I couldn't until I showed you this, was I have a tileable 240 by 240 24 by 24 LED matrix version. I'll just let that sink in just for a second. 24 by 24 LEDs.
Unexpected maker. Play.
Oh, hang on. Let me go back to... Could have gone that view. Anyway, so now... So you've got touch, but I can do this. Oh, please tell me I turned it on. Oh, allow swipes. Did I not uncomment? That'd be really annoying. That'd be really annoying if I didn't. Can swipe. Why is that not working? No. Okay. Anytime. Anyway, I'll fix that. I'll fix that in a moment. What? Well wishes to what we're talking about? If it does become a belt buckle, it won't be a belt buckle. Anyway, 24 by 24, 240 by 240 millimeter, tileable panels, RGB touch panels. So think wall of interactive touch RGB LED. That is what I'm currently working on. But I couldn't really mention that until you knew what that was, which is this. Why is this not... So I only recently... An interactive wall. You can get interactive screens, and you can get like some kids' play centers have interactive... that one. Have interactive like TVs that you can it's just an LED TV that you can touch and it changes, but it's not the same. It's just again, you got to experience it. It's just not the same. But anyway, so why is this not letting me? Can swipe. Oh, hang on. I think I might know why.
Menu. Play. Left.
Okay. I had to enable it. Sorry. because it only happens from the menu right now. If I enable it from the menu. Okay, phew, that's fine. Okay, so as you can see here now, hopefully you can hear it.
Left. Left. Right.
It's upside down.
Down. Up. Down. Up. Left. Right.
So I've got
Left.
tracking.
Left. Left. Down. 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 Right. 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 Up. 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 Left. Left. Left.
It would make more sense if I rotated it around. And it's not, it doesn't do diagonal. Like it'll do based on the whatever's the least angle, the least extreme. Anyway, whatever. I'm just go back to chat. I've been really I've been ignoring chat. I apologize. And hi to anyone that has joined that I've missed saying hi to. It's an evolution of core light interactions. You see a lot of things, but most of it is all tactile. Oh, but most of all, it's tactile and fun. Right, yes. Coffee table that I asked. Yeah, there's a lot of people who've tried to solve this. So the thing for me was, how do I make it touch, but have an LED there and make it feel like you've touched the LED? Like there are lots of ways to solve touch, and of course LED matrix they're easy, right? Everyone does those. But how do you it was partly the aesthetic and partly the how does it make it, how do I invent something that, I mean, obviously you're blocking the LED when you touch it, right? You can't do anything about that. Otherwise you'd have to touch it offset, which isn't the same. But how do you see now? See, it's annoying because now I can't move my finger without the let me turn that on. Reset it.
Unexpected maker. Play.
Okay. Like, how do you make it feel like you're touching it and get this interactive response from it? Anyway, it was lots of variations of the touch pads, how they work. It took a lot of refinement on those. I went through a lot of different PCBs to get it quite right. Hey, Mad Techie. Well, it's 12 by 12, so the resolution is not great, but you could interpolate that data. Yeah, still, anyway, 12 by 12. It could be a mouse, like a trackpad or a mouse, but not a very high res one, no. Anyway, lots of people have done similar things, touch tables or touch things using, IR or using whatever, but I wanted something that felt really good, that you don't have to push. Like I can just put my finger on it. Like I'm hardly touching it. I didn't want people to have to push on it, right? I mean, you can. And I wanted to track not just an on and an off. Like when I'm holding this right now, it's triggering it again and again and again. That's how I can do things like that, right? How do I do hold for a menu, right? It's not interrupt driven. It's not I touch it and then it's a single thing, right? Oh, that's me recording. Like so like every time I touch it, it changes color, right? It cycles the color. It gets a bit further. You see that, like here? So you can see here, if I touch down here, I'm not sure if you can see that. Hang on. You see the color cycling. Like it's fully interactive. It's not an on-off switch. You know what I mean? And anyway, it took a lot to get it to kind of feel like this. No, I'm not going to make it play Samantha Fox. You can. I'm not a musician. Do I have any expectation about the timeline availability? I want to experience it. I can start making them today. I've got enough parts here to probably make about 20 or 30. But I'm not ready on the firmware side. So if people want to start playing like, I really want to have some basic MicroPython support and some basic CircuitPython support for it, because there are a lot of people that want to develop in those languages that don't want to work in Platform IO necessarily. But look, like all things, it's just going to have to evolve, right? Well, you're not going to push me to rush firmware because the firmware's never ever going to get finished, ever. Like, I can ship what I've got on it right now, but it's like, you know, there's for things like having them talk to each other and all that stuff, that could be 3 months away, 4 months away still. Like, that is a lot of infrastructure needed, how that's all going to work, right? Like, right now, the SSID stuff's hard-coded. I've got Wi-Fi manager stuff, but I haven't got it enabled yet. So the plan is, right now, when you go into the menu, and you go to Wi-Fi, right? Wi-Fi is currently off. When you click, right now, if I just click it,
Starting.
it says starting, and it goes into that, right? But what it'll do is, when you click on it, if it can't find any Wi-Fi credentials, it comes up saying starting, it comes up saying Wi-Fi manager, right? And then you go to your phone and you connect, you hook it up, you can add whatever, and then it'll connect. And then the next time it'll know and it'll connect. I've got a web server backend for it, so you can do things like, you know, like maybe that's how we'll do things like pairing and stuff for the time being. But again, there's a bunch of code sitting there not enabled because I haven't got to that point yet. There's a lot of stuff still to do. There are other modes that, you know, I want to play with, and there are, you know, but I don't know if I want to keep adding it to one package. I feel like maybe I should split it into multiple different things. I don't know. Will it help me make friends and influence people? Can I add it as a GitHub issue if needed? What? Can you add it as a GitHub issue? I don't know. I think you already have influenced people a lot, David. You've influenced me. But I don't know about making friends, mate. I'm sorry. I tried making friends with you. You didn't even put a picture of me up on your wall when you finished your home. Like, I was just like... I'm just kidding. Sorry, mate. Just shit stirring. Thanks, Sid. I'll catch you later. 12 pixel Fruit Ninja. Yeah, there's not a lot of scope for games. It's fairly low res. Like, I can display text on it, but not a lot. You can only get 3 characters across right now. You know, or you can go to a little tiny font. The picture is in process. It's okay. I was just shit stirring you. Possible to run this device in the rain, weather, maybe? Absolutely not. Rain and underwater, 100% no. No. Yeah, I mean, if it got a little bit wet in the rain, I think it'd be fine. Underwater, 100% zero, no chance. To go along with the vampire pipe. Nice. I look forward to seeing it, David. Yeah. So,
Play.
and then the code base needs a lot of cleanup, and it's got no documentation. You know, there are icon classes. The icons can have animation frames on them. There's, you know, all different types of sound classes for playing notes, for playing tones. There's the whole touch interface and understanding how that works. There's, you know, and then there's the display. Look at this. So much stuff. Peter's going as well. Okay, catch you later. It might be sooner than later, me releasing them, but we'll see. Yeah. Better could run. It could absolutely run Doom, but not the display-wise. Yeah, I don't know what it would look like. 12 by 12. 12 by 12 is a challenge. Like 13 by 13 would have been better. Like having an odd number is better than an even number. Like I've got no center line, which is kind of nice to have for things like icons and whatever. But I didn't want to lose a row and I can't do 13. Not with the hardware I'm using. So it's 12 by 12, unless I add additional hardware. So it is not using the touch on the ESP32S3. It's using dedicated touch ICs, the MPR 121s, which are on. Oh God. Which are sitting up here. So they're on the touch side. So they're I2C based. So one chip is for the rows and one chip is for the columns. Yeah, it can marble tilt game. I mean, there's lots of things it can do. Yeah. If you get the bevel to really small, you could make it. No. Absolutely cannot make this snap together like that. Someone already mentioned that before. The bevel can't be small. Absolutely can't be small. Because that's where all the electronics is. If the bevel was small so we could tile, where would the electronics go? Nowhere. Well, the electronics would have to be on the bottom, and it would be huge. I mean, even that is thicker than I wanted it to be. But, you know, it's got to have space to put things like batteries, speakers. Like, it needs to be thick enough to have a USB connector. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's not sure how it feels to finally show it off. Thanks, David. Yeah, look, I'm glad it's out in the open now. I don't have to. Thank you, John. Thank you very much, mate. Well, right now, it's just two devices talking because that's what I've programmed, right? I mean, technically, I could do the same thing without targeting IP. I could just make it a general broadcast and a listen on that port. So if I had 5 of them in here and I sent a message, all 5 would get them. This would even get it because they're all listening on the same. Hey, Dutch Maker. So you could do like a broadcast and that would go to everyone, but then you couldn't target someone. But look, there's lots of different ways I can do discoverability, like ESP Now or BLE, stuff like that. It's really far away on my list right now of things to look at because, yeah, there's just so much work involved with doing all that. And I want to be able to do sending a message or sending to someone who might be offline and then being able to retrieve it when they go online, right? So there's a lot of stuff to do there in that space. No, it doesn't have a microphone. No. So really don't enjoy working with MEMS microphones because if I put a MEMS microphone on a device, on some hardware, that hardware can't be cleaned, which means it can't be reworked and or whatever. I just the MEMS mics are a bane of my existence. I've got them on 2 products at the moment. They're also not cheap, so it adds dollars to the product. But look, maybe a future revision could have a MEMS microphone on there. I don't know. I thought about it, but yeah. I mean, there's other things like, you know, do I add an SD card for it for storage? Storage of what? I mean, you've got about 4 megabytes of flash storage that I could use for allowing people to save stuff in there, but I don't know what they would want to save, right? Like, it's not a photo frame, so putting photos on isn't going to make much sense. So, like, there's the whole... Yeah. I mean, there's so many things I could add, but I don't know if they add value, or I don't think they added value. So, yeah. Right, but there's already stacks of things that can do you know, like my Bling could be an ESP home assistant, voice assistant, right? That's got a microphone. My Tiny Watch could do exactly the same thing. Like I don't think this works in that same. I don't think that's what the space is for this. I don't know. Like it would be a very, well, I don't know. I don't use Home Assistant. I don't know what anyone else would do with it. A lighting control, maybe. I don't know. The double thickness plus a rugged case, perfectly fine for a modular. Yeah, but that's a totally different thing. Is it Claudius Raphael? Yeah, I mean that's making that change might be fine for you and for your use case, but then it completely changes everything about it. Like I'm not making two versions of it, and I don't think them tiling like that, like making them twice as thick and awkward, just so they can potentially tie or touch each other when majority of people out there, if they've got one at all, would have one. That seems like a pretty major design change, philosophy change on the product for a situation where it's useless to anyone that doesn't have more than one, that doesn't want to do that, right? So yeah, the first Richard pick received. Sure. I'm not going to do that myself online. Again, haptics doesn't work. You probably joined the stream late. I already had a haptic version. It doesn't work because it doesn't. It breaks. It totally breaks the illusion that you're touching LEDs. Like the haptics would have to be positional. It doesn't work when they're not positional. I've tried. It just doesn't feel nice. Like it's yeah. So, as I said earlier, anything you could possibly be thinking of, I've already had considerations on all these things. I've got prototypes with different versions of stuff. I even tried looking at doing multiple haptics, putting 4 haptics in corners, right, and trying to approximate where you're clicking based on the vibration of it. And at the end of the day, the thing had to grow an extra 11 millimeters to be able to support that. The wiring was a nightmare, and it would have drained the battery in 30 seconds. So, you know what I mean? It's all a trade-off. And at the end of the day, people just play with it. They just sit here doing this. Yeah. So, okay. So there it is. There it is. Like even these two, like when I went for the non-screws on top, I managed to get them thinner again. Like it's only a millimeter, but this is a millimeter thinner than this one. I wish it was more. Could you use back mount LEDs to make the touch LEDs assembly more? No. Well, you can't get back mount LEDs that'll work in this configuration. No. I mean, feel free to design one yourself, however you want to do it. But yeah, no. The construction of this, yeah. They don't make back mount LEDs that would work for this. And you can't have back mount LEDs that they'll interfere with the capacitive touch. Like there's another reason why there were 2 PCBs here, right? And no electronics at all in the region of the touch. Nothing. Whoop! What happened there? Did anyone just see that? I must have that affects things on by accident. Yeah, we're just thinking of a gigantic creator audience out there. Fuelable black boxes. And resonate plate over X and Y. How? What do you mean resonate? It's where it feels it's buzzing from is the problem. Yeah, it's that reaction thing. I don't know. I didn't even know I had that turned on. What did I do? I gave it 2 thumbs up. Is that how it works? Really? I've never used it before. Oh my god. I've never used it before. I didn't even know I had it on. That is bad, Apple. Bad Apple. It's where you're touching it is the issue. It doesn't feel like it's vibrating where you're touching it, and that's the problem. That's why. So haptics are gone. It didn't work. I didn't have a solution for haptics. Sure, it doesn't do voice. Sorry, it doesn't have a microphone. Yeah. Really, is 2 thumbs down the thing as well? Maybe I'm too scared to do that. I don't know if I want to do that. So there it is. It's very hard to. I don't know. I guess I'm just going to release them and see what people do with them. Cool, the best thing I've ever made so far. I don't know, David. I reckon I'm getting to the end. I'm absolutely getting to the end. That's a whole different conversation. Yeah, whole different conversation. But this has been giving me ulcers. This has been giving me ulcers for quite a while, in terms of just indecision about what I'm going to do with it. I don't think I want to. I don't want to. I don't want to do any more gestures, just in case. I don't know what they are. I probably spent a solid month trying to solve multi-touch, and it just can't be done. Like, I even spoke to the manufacturers of the chip. Like, it can't be done, and they've documented it clearly. Like, and unfortunately, just the nature of the way the multi-touch works on these chips, well, pretty much any multi-touch that is not a chip specifically designed for a trackpad, just you can't do. You can't do actual multi-touch, where, like, finger tracking multi-touch, right, where you don't get that ghosting. I probably spent about 4 days writing this convoluted system that tracks fingers based on deltas, and it was just this complicated bit of code and I got it working like 80%, where it would do 2 fingers and you can move them around, but there was always a position you could get it into where it freaked it out and suddenly it broke, and then you had ghosting and all the tracking was gone, and then it was like almost there but not quite. Because the first thing people often ask me is they go, oh, can it do multi? And they go, oh, it can do multi fingers, you see? It can do multi. It can't. Not like you're used to. Like, straight away, they go like this. Yeah? Pinch and zoom. No, you can't do pinch and zoom. Right? You can't, because you can't do gestures, multi gestures. Catch you later, Dave. Have a good sleep. Thanks, mate. If you construct what? Or LART, I don't know what that is, as a resonator. I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry. There are 8 camera gestures. Okay, I'll look later. I don't want to do any of them now. But anyway.
John Clayton says, I would love to take 2 of these into a bar and make a YouTube video of their reactions.
Or even just one of them into a bar. The problem with taking them into the bar is they won't be able to talk to each other because they need to connect to the Wi-Fi, right? So one of the options for that. So originally I wanted to do. I started talking about this earlier. Originally it was going to be ESP Now talking to each other. That solves the whole Wi-Fi thing, and I'm going to look at doing that now. But the problem with ESP Now is you're limited to in like packet sizes can't be more than 250 bytes. And at that point in time, my data that I use when I'm recording touches was too big. It wasn't designed to be sent that way, right? And so then I worked on the SACN stuff, which then led me down. Once I'd never used UDP before. And so once I worked out how to use UDP, which really isn't that difficult, I built my own protocol and communication layer to be able to communicate. And now I've got that small enough that instead of sending UDP packets, because I record a whole bunch of data and then I chunk it all together into chunks, and then I send it as chunks, right? I can now send it as chunks via ESP Now instead. So that would, with ESP Now, I could make them auto-discover all by themselves and be able to send back and forwards without any Wi-Fi. So that's my next plan for that stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of other things on the list that are just as important to do. So, but I need to solve the ESP Now stuff before I sell them, I think. Because ESP Now would require no setup. No, I can't. No, you don't understand what I'm sending. No, it's not it's not a matrix of touch array I'm sending. That'd be useless. Think about what I've shown and what I said before. Hang on.
Menu.
Is Wi-Fi on?
Settings.
It is. So, wait. I don't know how I'm going to do this. How would I... wait, I'm just going to change. I need to go back to here. I can't hold them both at the same time. So how would I do this?
Play. Start.
How would I do that over time, sending a touch array? Like, I'm not sending frames of images. Frames of images is pointless. Because I want it to do what I did. Right? So sending frames would be it'll be about frame rate and anyway. Like, it would need a whole different way of using the display. Right? It's actually recording my inputs as I'm doing it. So if I'm going like this and then I hold at this spot and you see the color change and I hold, you see this? You see what I'm doing? Right? It's doing exactly the same thing. That's the magic of it. Guaranteed that what I create, okay, packet loss aside, what I create and how I create it here is exactly what they're going to experience there, right? No, it's not DMX data. Absolutely not DMX data. DMX data is RGB color channels per LED. This is not what this is. No. No, this is sending the actual touch. I touched this LED at this time for this long and it was this color or, whatever. It's not for this long, it's at this time. I touched this LED at this delta time, and it was this color when I touched it, and it was this fade out value when I did it. That's what it's sending. Anything else I send would be inferior. Anyway. But the packets of data it sends is for each touch is 12 bytes. I could get it to 11, but it's not worth it. 12 bytes. And I chunk them into 20 touches. I could chunk them into any. It's an arbitrary number. It doesn't matter. But I chunk them in, at the moment, chunk them into 20
John Clayton
touches.
says DMX is just the protocol used to send the data.
No, I'm not using DMX at all. So I was originally using a form of DMX to send the data, but I wasn't using DMX properly. It's like using a spreadsheet, and the data you put in the spreadsheet isn't numbers, right? Like, I could send someone a written document, like a legal document in Excel if I wanted to, but that's not what Excel is for, right? I was originally sending the data using the SACN protocol, which is for DMX stuff, but I was not encoding it. I was not encoding the color data into it like I was supposed to. I was brute forcing my data, which was not color data, into that protocol. So when it got it, I had to then extract my data out of it, right? If I would have sent it to a DMX controller, it would have gone, I don't understand what this data is. Like, I understand I got a DMX, I got an SACN packet, and I can, like, it would have used my data, but what it would have shown is not what I sent it. As in, not what I wanted. It would have shown some random crap, because, I was, instead of sending color channels, I was encoding other data. But then, once I got that working, I realized that I could just do my own. The challenge there was getting that working with UDP. And once I got UDP working, then it was easy for me to go, hey, I'm just going to write my own protocol. But I do still have my code base for sending DMX, and so I can still do that. But I just don't have any code that does that. And I've got nothing to talk to yet. But Cable Tie, I'm going to visit him tomorrow. He's giving me some DMX hardware that has a Wi-Fi interface, so I can actually make this talk to his hardware and modify LEDs from here, right? So, yeah, I was just brute forcing my data into their packet format. But that's, yeah. Hey Jake, how you doing, mate? Congratulations again. Jake got a warehouse. You bought a warehouse. Like, expecting to say, hey, we're moving into a warehouse, but you bought a warehouse? That's awesome. Could be implemented as a frame buffer and sending a single frame. Yeah, it's I mean, it could be implemented as a frame buffer. It could be implemented as just, it could be lots of different ways to do it. But you got to remember, I've got a code base that already takes a bunch of touches and displays them. Like, that's what it's doing right now, right? The thing that is allowing me to not only touch and show them. So, okay, the complexity here is this. Not that some of you might care, some of you might not care, right? So when I go like this, when I move along here, right, it's touching each one of those spots dozens of times as I move. Ah, it's rented. I thought you bought one. You said you bought a warehouse. Oh, still very exciting, mate. Super, super exciting. Very happy for you. For those that aren't aware, sorry, Jake is the he's from Desktop Machines. It's Desktop Machines. Anyway, Millennium Mills. He pretty much invented the the Milo Mill, and or him and his team. And they've got they're about to move into a commercial space. So things are heating up. They're oh, just realised my cable's in the way. Yeah, pretty exciting. A warehouse or a whorehouse. Oh, did I say whorehouse? So when I'm capturing, it's capturing multiple touches, right, as I'm going, because I've got no control over the speed of someone's fingers moving, right? But my system doesn't record a touch for each one of those. My system knows if it's a new touch or if I'm retouching a current spot. If I'm retouching a current spot, it doesn't add a new touch, but it literally retouches it. Like it says, you've been touched again, but it doesn't add a new one. And so that's the key in... Oh, I'm touching the top. That's the key in having this work. And so when I record that data and send it and play it back, it needs to it does exactly the same thing. It doesn't go, here's a million touches, right? It'll go, here's, I said a million, whatever. Here's a million recorded bits of data, but not all of them are new touches. Some of them are retouches, right? Because a new touch over an existing touch will destroy what was there and replace it with something else, and you see a flicker. You see a change of a color, where mine don't do that. If I go over them again, it's just retouching, making it longer with it, and it fades to that new color. It's not jarring when I go over the same spot again and again and again. If I don't do it, it is. You can actually see it. They flicker to the different colors, which doesn't look nice. Anyway, do you say you can link and control it with your watch? No, I didn't say that. I mean, you could, but why would you want to control it with the watch? Or what would you make it do? I don't know. Anyway. People can code it up differently if they want to. No one has to use my code. At the end of the day, it's an SB32 with a bunch of peripherals, so people can do what they want. Hey, Mr. England, finally look it up. Can you link more than two? It could be written for a 4 to 8 player. Well, right now it's just they're hard coded to each other. It could be a broadcast, but yeah, if I do ESP now, then it could discover lots of. But how would you select which one you're sending it to? You like the one with audio? Which one? The this annoying one? Okay, Flynn sits on the couch doing this. Shut up! Yeah, but I'll sit here doing this on the stream and annoy everyone. A wearable. I'm not quite sure. That's kind of, it might be a bit too big. Yeah. It's like the random sound generator on my 64 I used to play. I mean, it could be someone could do a sequencer, you know, something, I don't know. Hey, Aaron, what did you miss? Oh, dude, go back to the start. Watch from the start. I'll make it change it. Instead of calling it beeps, I'll call it the annoying one. Sorry, that's just so annoying. It is annoying. Catch you later, John. Cheers, mate. Thanks very much. Send weather icons to it. But you could just add weather to this. Like, it's got Wi-Fi. When it goes online, it could just grab the weather if you've got an API key for open weather. I mean, it would take more work to get the watch and this talking together. When you say the watch, you're talking about tiny watch. You're talking about any watch. I mean, it's got Bluetooth. You could set it up to subscribe to characteristics of something. I mean, whatever you want it to do can be programmed. It's just not something I'm going to be shipping with the demo code. So AJ's not here. AJ has been working on some MIDI something for it. But yeah, like I don't use MIDI. I don't do, as I said, I don't do music. I don't do MIDI. I'm sure there's lots of use cases for MIDI, both as an input and an output, but I don't know what they are. Someone else is going to have to look at that, I guess. And hopefully if someone gets one of these and sets up something cool with MIDI, then they will, hopefully share their code in some form or another for other people to use. Pocket calculator and Craftworks. Make a guide pedal at the moment for make. I'm not showing the video. What? I'm making a guide for a mate. Right. I thought you said like for make. Tricorder. That's cool. How does that work? You need to go back to the start, Aaron. I'm not going over again. Not going over it again. Anyway.
Magic sand.
It's a very small magic sand. So I'm going to show you the story of how the magic sand. So I got this going, right? I got it going without touch, right? So I gave it to Yaz. I got to go. Let me go to here. I'm sorry, Yazzie, if you're watching, right? It's just possible usage. There's stacks of possible. Absolutely, Max. That's the thing. There's stacks of potential uses for this. The problem is, when I say problem, it's my concern is people go, oh, that's really cool. It could do blah, blah, blah. I'm going to get one and I'll make it do whatever. And then they never get around to doing that. Whatever, life, whatever, blah, 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 blah. It's like I don't want people to feel like they've, I mean, we all buy hardware that sits on a desk or in a drawer that we don't use, whatever. It seems to be a rite of passage, forever thing for makers. But, like, right now I feel obligated to deliver as much as I can on all the things it can do. Because I know that a lot of things that it can do will never get done by the people that potentially want to get it done or want to see it done before they buy it, because life gets in the way and because other people, you know what I mean? Like, I get all that, which is fine. But it's yeah. It adds a level of guilt that I don't need right now. So I want to show you the story of what happened. So I did the magic sand. So Yaz and the kids had already seen it. They've already been playing with it, whatever else. I walk up to Yaz. I gave it to her, like this, right? And like this, they're currently moving around a bit, but they weren't moving around. There was an even number before, so there weren't any gaps, right? They're moving because there's a gap. So anyway, so it was just sitting there like that. So she started touching the screen and nothing happened. And she's looking at me going, what? And I didn't say anything, right? And so she's holding it and she's touching, nothing's happening. She goes, what? I don't get it. And so I kept didn't say anything. And then she went to like give it back to me and she moved it and they moved. And she went, what? Huh? And so she touched it again. Nothing happened. And she goes, I don't understand. I said, move it. So she moved it. She went, oh my God. And she's moving it around. She goes, oh, that's really cool. Right? But she didn't get it because it was a touch thing. And so she was expecting the touch to do something, not the move. Yeah? That was, so So then I added the ability to touch it. Yeah. Oh, that's annoying. I added the ability to touch, right? So it was like this, and I gave it back to her, right? And so straight away she started moving it, and she goes, "What have you changed?" And I didn't say anything. And she goes, like, she's doing it. And I'm going, she goes, "What have you changed? What? I'm going, so she didn't touch it, deliberately didn't touch it, because the last time she touched it, it didn't do anything. And so she knew to move it. And I just said, touch it. And so she touched it. And then went, oh, she goes, oh my God, that's really cool. It was the funniest thing, because I didn't want to tell her. I wanted to see if she could work it out. Right? Anyway, sorry. It was a funny story. I thought it was funny. It's called usability testing using my family as guinea pigs. So I'm doing that. I'm looking at it. That's not very nice. Anyway. I'm just...
HMS says, are you shipping beta versions?
Well, I actually have 6. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I might have 5 or 4 of the pre-production. They're exactly the same, but they have that whole battery has to go from here to here issue. Now, I did buy, before I solved that in the final version, before I solved it, I did actually buy a whole bunch of these that I don't need now. I bought extension cables for batteries. I got these custom made for me. Yay. So you could put the battery in one end. Hang on. Oops. Oh, I've got to switch cameras. Right? So, because these are designed to have the battery at this end. Actually, it doesn't really matter which way. Right, the battery goes in there. And then the idea was that this goes to the connector at the other end. And as I mentioned before, the actually that was designed to go this way. Okay. No, I can't remember which way it was designed to go. Because I'm not doing it now anyway, so it didn't matter. But it was designed to fit. Oh, what a challenge. Like this, right? So it was designed to go underneath and then plug in to the battery. But I don't need to do that anymore. It's really hard to see. I don't need to do that anymore because the battery now plugs into the top, not the bottom. So you don't have to plug it in before you put it together. But the beta versions I've got here, I guess, the pre-production, require that. Does that make sense? Can you sort the sand into separate colors? You need to start phrasing your questions not with "can you." Like rag and loads, like yeah. It could be programmed to. Yes. But otherwise, the answer is always going to be no, right? Can you? No. Unless you program it. So I've got piles of piles. So I have not got the production boards for my wall version yet. They're called RGB Touch Wall at the moment. I haven't manufactured them yet because there's a couple of things I still need to work out. But I'm excited to finish that off. If we can see MIDI desktop instrument like a Chaos Pad thing application. Sure, yeah. There's honestly lots of things it could be.
Bounce.
This is a bit... I don't know what this is. I don't know. At least I got it fading. Except what's happening here? That one's bouncing forever. It's really slowly fading. There it goes. Like you're in Aldi. The till scanning. Sorry. I'm not sure you can hear it. It does get quieter as they're bouncing as they fade out. So fading LEDs is a bit of a problem. That's for a different day, I guess. Battery speaker PCB, I didn't see it well. So the battery... So the battery speaker PCB. So what are you asking me about? The final production ones, the connector for the speaker and the battery are on the touch panel, not on the LED panel. So there are no wires that go between them at all. So like this version in here has wires that go from the battery and the speaker through to the connectors on this side, which is a pain to assemble. Look at the fifth, the right click has imparted. Look at the fifth, the right. I don't understand. What's that? What? Look at the... Oh, filth. What? Is my glasses not working? As I said, Aaron, go back. I linked to the product page already for... I'll link to it again. Yeah, right-clicking where though? Where are you talking about? Oh! You're talking about on my mouse. Oh my god. Right. Yeah, it's disgusting, isn't it? I should really not show that on screen. Ah, yeah. Can you show the design in Fusion with the case and the PCBs? Nope. Why? You can see it in real life. Not at the moment. I don't have Fusion loaded. But I showed it before. You've got... I already showed the two sides. Take that out. That's the touch side. Oh God, black on black. That's the touch side. And that's the LED side. Except, as I said, those are now here. So that can come off without any wires connecting the two. So much nicer. No, this, it just needs it clean. Now these actually mice, they're shit. They've all their track wheels are broken. They've got if I just move it a little bit, it accelerates forever. Like even if I switch applications, it's still accelerating. They're busted. Logitech won't fix it. Anyway, I need to get new mice. Oh. So yeah, they're the parts. I mean, yeah, plus the plus these. Look, there's a lot of printing. The printing's really painful. I have to use the multi-material to do the supports. So using PETG for the interface stuff, because I can't have, it's got to be a perfectly clean surface for the top to sit in. Like it's flush. Like if it's not perfect, it's nothing worse than feeling like that top plate is not sitting in there properly. So that's been a challenge. I've honestly, I have printed, hang on. These are two more, the last two that I have printed and tweaked the design on this, no joke, 100 times or more. Like I've wasted kilograms of filament just tweaking this design to get it perfect and strong. Anyway, catch you later, David. Inserted meter peeps all day this week. Cool. I'll catch up with you on Discord. But thanks for joining, David. Appreciate it. And good luck with the interviews. See you, mate. Yeah, a lot of design iterations. So many. Thank you. I just wanted it to feel like it. I didn't want it to feel cheap. Like it's still it's a PCB on the bottom. I could go and spend a fortune getting proper cases made and whatever, but it's never going to be a high volume item, right? Oops.
Menu. Play.
It's never going to be a high quantity item, so it just doesn't it doesn't feel cheap. Like it's 3D printed and the PCB's top and bottom. It feels makery. It looks makery, but I don't think it looks cheap. And it's got, it's not heavy, but it's got some okay weight to it. Like it'll move around when you're trying to do this. Like it's not designed to, it's not that heavy that it sits still, because I want people to be able to hold it and walk around with it without fatiguing their wrist. But
Up, left, down, left. Left, right, up.
Anyway, okay, so I didn't even finish drinking my cold coffee. How crazy is that? Can you explain how you printed the multi-filament diffusers? Yeah. The 2424 version is for wall installation. It's not for handheld. It's not something you hold in your hand. I don't believe I'll be making it's too big. Yeah, so no, these are multi-material, or multi-color prints. This can't be done without. Well, the way I've designed it, the way it works. So there's two parts. It's printed as at the same time. There's the black at the bottom, which is the diffuser, which separates every single LED, and then the clear is only at the top. The clear doesn't go through the whole way. So these are hollow. They're hollow all the way to the top. And the reason I've done that is, firstly, 3D prints, like even this with PETG, right? Which is probably the most translucent material, like clear. Doing it all the way through would just it would block off too much of the light. Like they're not, it's not great at transferring the light through. And secondly, they would take, like doing doing filament color changes on the bamboo takes forever. Like it would take 20 hours to print one set of these. So I only do one color change. So it prints black all the way up, and then it does a color change here, and it prints the clear. So it's one piece, it's all joined together, but it's only the one color change, which is quick. So I just print stacks of these on a sheet. And they just, as I said, they just plug in like that, and they sit perfectly flush. So you can't feel them. Like it doesn't feel really, well, you can feel when they're not there, but you can't feel them. Like if I put my finger here where there isn't any, it feels different to here, but I can't feel the plastic. I'm still feeling the touch, the top. Does that make sense? So yeah, these are not separate light pipes and like it can't be done as two separate things. Well, it can be done as two separate things, but that's twice as much assembly involved. This is just nice and simple. And they used to be individual rows, but I did them as doubles so I could use them as the for like wire to put wires through like that, right? But I now don't need that because of the design change I made. But it's still easier to print them in two. I could print them as a one piece. The problem with a one piece is occasionally the printer will stuff up one of these top sections, and if I do it as one piece and it stuffs up one top section, I've lost the whole thing. Where in this case, I've only lost one double. Is there code? Come on. So right now I've got a menu item. No problems, Peter. So there is a menu item here
Menu.
in settings
Setting. Orientation.
for orientation. So you can set which way is up, down, left, right. But I could also possibly do it real time just from the IMU. So I'll do one or the other. I don't know yet. The problem with real time from the IMU is I don't want it to switch when you do this. Like I want it to be a commitment to which way it's going to be, because when it's flat, it's not going to know which way. So this doesn't do anything yet.
Cancel.
But that's what the orientation icon is for, is to set which way is up. Because you can even, I guess, set it that way as being up if you wanted to. Right now it's all hard-coded this way, right? Except for the swipes,
Play.
which are of
Left. Right.
back to front, right?
Right.
Because I must have coded them when it was sitting this way. It's really frustrating. Yeah.
Left.
Having it change which way is up is actually quite a difficult problem, because it's not just the touch that needs to change. It can't just be the display that changes. Like I'm touching like this, but I'm like flipping the display to make it display correctly, because all the touch inputs for like all the buttons. So that's a button. That one in the middle where you can't see an icon is a button. Icons can be a button or not a button. That's an icon that's not a button. These are icons that are, well, these are buttons that have an icon. This is actually a button class. When I push this, like it knows I'm pushing the right button. Like there's a whole class for buttons in there. And then the buttons can have different times for holding. So like when I just touch this,
Play.
it selected it, right? That hold to do it, that's the timer on the button. This one here, I can't touch this one. This one needs a commitment.
Play.
So you can't accidentally cancel. You can't do a compass. Not really. It's only a 3-axis IMU. So it would be you can't make it go north. You could make it just, you could make it point and arrow based on you doing this, and have it rotate. But you can't do. You need 9-axis to be able to do. I mean, you can do it with a just a magnetometer, maybe, but that's not you can't do acceleration or other things with that. So like my tiny watch has, by the way, I got tiny watches back in stock. Anyway, my tiny watch has a 9-axis. It's got a 6-axis IMU and a magnetometer to be able to do a compass.
Right. Left, right, down.
That's annoying. Okay. I think, how long have I been going for? Over 2 hours. An external, need to add an external magnetometer. Well, you can't add external anything. There's no ports on purpose. So, Deshipu mentioned, he's probably already gone to sleep. Good night, Deshipu. Mentioned there's no charge LED. So, I originally had little slots on the side where you could see, you could see you could see a power and a charge LED there. But the LEDs aren't side-facing LEDs, so it just didn't look right. Like they're just a normal top of a PCB LED. And I didn't want to have to source a sideways-facing single-color LED that I would have to, add to the BOM, add to the manufacturing issues. Like it would be another feeder position, another parts to load on the feeder, placing it just to see a thing, whatever. And then I didn't want to do a light pipe on the top to it because I didn't want to have any other LEDs here. Like I didn't want to be able to see a charge or a whatever LED on the top. That would have spoiled the aesthetics. So I just opted for not being able to see the charge LED, which is fine. I might not even place it, I don't know. What about the type of code the OLEDs use? What? Code an OLED uses for orientation. I don't know what you're talking about. An OLED display doesn't do orientation. Code does orientation. No, I'm not using the AT42QT touch matrix chip. I've spent months. I've got designs that are for various microchip and other brand touchpad chips to be able to do things like to be able to solve the multi-touch. My focus for a long time was how do I solve multi-touch, because so many people instinctively went to do multi-touch on it, right? And none of the chips that are designed to be able to track, like that are really designed for like a trackpad on a notebook or whatever. None of those chips are suitable for what I want to do, because they're the way you need to implement the array, the touch layout for those chips can't work when you've got holes littered through it everywhere. When the holes line up and break two pads touching each other because there's a hole there. Right? Doesn't work. I've tried all different ways, and at the end of the day, it wasn't solvable. Oh. How funny was that? Oh, you can't see what's so funny about that. Yeah, so it wasn't something that I could solve, that wasn't going to add $15 or $20 to the cost for a single chip that then needed a custom driver, and it still wouldn't have done anything much better than what I was doing right now. So yeah, lots of different chip choices I've been going through. I've got a bunch of chips here that I just haven't used. I've got I never committed to the layout because the layout just wouldn't work. Even with the larger ones, the wall ones that I want to do, again, it's the same problem where I can't do multi-touch on them. which I think, not from a like gesture point of view, but from a multiple people touching them at the same time. But it's just not something that's easily solved without... it can't really be solved without putting a film over the top. And I don't want to put a film over the top. Putting a film over the top, apart from the fact that it'll just... It changes the whole feel of it. It's just different. So anyway, I didn't want to do it. Yeah. And a lot of these, the chips out there, they still can't do multi-touch. Yeah. Anyway, okay, I'm waffling. Whatever. Happy to answer more questions if anyone's got. Definitely busting for a coffee. Scrolling back. Did I miss anything? I don't know, probably. Too much chat to go back, scroll through. Can't the main LEDs be used to display the battery level? Sure. I just haven't added that right now. I can also have it say battery low when the battery's low. I mean, I could just add a...
Menu.
In here, I could just add another thing that shows it, the status. I don't know. Maybe down there the whole time on the settings screen could be a little gauge for the battery. Has this inspired other ideas for unique products? It's pretty cool, I have to say. Thanks, mate. Well, various sizes of this. The wall thing interests me a lot. The wall thing is going to be a real problem, as in very expensive. But I think the tileable version, that will not be a handheld version, right?
Super chat!
Thanks, Bear. And thanks, Matt. Yay. Thanks, Pro Engineer. Appreciate it, mate. The wall one, I could see for things like art installations or just not art, but just whatever, for installation. Like I would love to have, for no other purpose, I'd love to have a wall of those things. But if you think about it, they're going to be extremely expensive to make. Like each panel is going to be very expensive to make. And then having multiple of them, you know, I did a costing for 10 panels, so that the PCBs alone for 10 panels is about $630 just for PCBs for 10 panels. And 10 panels is really only, you know, a meter by under a meter. It's not even that big, right? That's that's not even including the 5,000 however many LEDs, right? And the gigaamps to run it all, right? I mean, you know, it's going to be an interesting challenge, but I'm still going to do it. But I haven't finished them. I haven't finished the design. I finished the design, the LED panel, the touch panel, but there's no electronics on the LED panel. There can't be because it needs to tile, so there's no room, right? Remember, the electronics is on the side here and here. There's no room to stick electronics here. Can't be. Right, I thought about getting PCBWay actually to sponsor it, but I don't know. It's not really about the money. I mean, $600 just for PCBs is a lot of money to spend on something that is just for my curiosity, right? Plus the assembly of 5,000 LEDs, and you know we're talking about 40 touch ICs at like $2.20 each, and blah blah blah. What and keep it. No, well, it can't be. You can't. It would have to be at the back. It'd have to be behind, is what I'm saying. It can't. The electronics can't be between the two PCBs if it's seamless. Even on this, it can't be between, right? But for a wall, it can't be thick. It's got to be super thin on a wall, or as thin as possible. And each panel will need its own microcontroller to run it. So a panel by itself, it would be fully by itself, right? But then multiple panels, they need to all communicate with each other, which is not a problem. They'd run independently, but they'd communicate, so they all knew what each other were doing. Entire version uses magnetic data couple. No, because they're completely independent of each other, right? They can't rely on having to physically be touching another one. You could make a grid of grids, each grid having power and MCUs to handle its needs. No. Power, sure. MCU, no. Yeah. What? No. So it's not the way I want to make it. Anyone can do whatever they want to do. Not the way I want to make it. Not the way I think it needs to be made and used. It can't be. There can't be you need a this version and then you need lots of this versions that connect to this. But then if you got this many of this version, you need another one of this version. But no, I'm not interested in that. Like that's the wrong way to potentially make a product out of this, right? Each unit is its own standalone thing. Has to be like in terms of power. No, you could have a beefy 100 amp power supply sitting there that's powering 20 of them, 30 of them. It's not an issue of power. It's an issue of the logic controlling them. There's only so many I2C devices you can stick on one microcontroller before you are hindering the I2C bus in terms of reading touch input and stuff, right? And displaying, updating 500 and something LEDs at a fast enough rate when you've got the touch input interrupting everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's anyway, I'll get that finished. I'll get that sorted out. I'm excited to just build a bunch of them and try it out. I don't know how they're going to get mounted. I need to solve how they're going to be mounted on a wall. I need to solve how the electronics is going to work, how the power going to the electronics is going to work. And then I need to also potentially solve ESD and any type of, we're talking about having thousands of LEDs all pulsing. Like the radiated emissions from these things is going to be massive. Like, I don't even know if it's something that I'd even ever be allowed to sell, even as an art installation. You know what I mean? Poking some at my own wall panel thingy. Your own wall panel thingy? What? Do you have a URL or any pictures, Beata? I mean, doing LED walls is not new. Like, this is about touch, right? This is about, I want an interactive wall section. Like, I mean, I could make them bigger than 240 by 240, but then I can't pick and place them myself, right? I've got to be able to fit them on a pick and place machine, and I need to be able to get them in my own oven. So I'm limited on that as well. I need to be able to make them. Like, I'm not sitting there hand placing 512 LEDs per panel on 10 panels. Not going to happen. No. That would not be... It's not about cheaper. That would be unmanufacturable, Wagon Load. Like, yeah. not the way you want to manufacture a product or manufacture something that. And no, the LED strips isn't the way to go. Yeah, I know that Mike's Electric stuff made a whole bunch of arty LED things. It's quite common. I mean, there's companies, like even in Australia, there's so many like LED lighting companies around that focus on industrial LED lighting and like RGB and whatever lighting and for different sectors and whatever else. It's a big industry, but for me, it's about the interactive. It's about the touch. This was always about
Play.
touching them,
Up.
not about displaying, but about the touching.
Left.
Anyway, yep. Yeah, it's something I need to look into. Like right now, I just need to prototype it, but I don't want to waste. If I'm going to like spend that type of money, I don't want to waste it on making a version just to see that I couldn't potentially, with a few tweaks, go to market with. That, you know, like it's not going to be a hobby maker product, right? I'll tell you that right now, and it won't be designed for or priced at a hobby maker market. But like, yeah, like I don't want to. Like this first thing I did that I showed before, right? This was a proof of concept. Like my plan was never to be doing this, but I needed to know that this worked as a concept before I added an MCU and blah 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 and blah 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 to it, right? So it didn't make any sense going to this version, which had the electronics in it on the bottom, until I knew that the panel would actually work. And as it turned out, this worked, but it wasn't nice to use. This was better because this had a different panel, an improved panel that was better and nicer to use, but then had that, you know, issue where it didn't feel nice going from pixel to pixel. So, which is why I went for that. Catch you later, Alan. Have a good sleep. So I want to make sure that, you know, it's got whatever it is mountable. I've worked out how mounting holes are going to work. I've worked out how the brains of each part is going to attach, because that'll have to be something that's attached. It won't be manufactured double-sided board. It'll be something that attaches to the back, not soldered to the back. It'll have to be removable, replaceable, right? So, and then, you know, the way the panels join together. I've already solved the way the panels join together, the front and the back. It's actually quite clever, the way they communicate. There's no wires between them. Well, there's no, yeah, like it's. Anyway, I'll show all this once I'm ready, once I'm closer. But yeah, the front panel attaches so the back panel gets mounted on a wall, and the front panel gets mounted to that, and then they hopefully are tileable. And then solving things like getting PCBs and having the routing on the edges not nice, and so they don't look nice. Like, how are they going to look next to each other if they're not exactly perfectly flat and touching? Like, stuff like that. Like, I don't want to. There can't be a frame between them. It's got to look seamless. Like, JLC can't do that. Even PCBWay can't do that. I mean, for prototypes it's fine, but they can't do that for at production quality. Like, I'd have to go and find a PCB manufacturer that can actually, you know, give me guaranteed this is the exact size with perfect routing, right? With no corners. I need sharp edges, no corners. Like, it's got to be. It'd look terrible if you could see the seams because of bad PCB. Anyway, so many things that are that are worrying future Xeon about this as an idea. Like, I know the panels will work, and I know what they're going to feel like. I can already picture it. I can already picture them, like just getting my hand and going along a wall. Like, it's going to be spectacular. I know that side of the technology is going to work. It's the how am I going to get it all together? You know. Anyway, Catch you later, Jerry. Milo to the rescue. No, I'm not routing the boards myself. No. Not going to happen. No, possibly. I don't think it's so much dangerous for the fingers per se. It would just not going to. I don't know. It might just not be a great experience. And then I'm also potentially looking at, even though each board would be controlled by their own brain, there are lots of ways that they can communicate. Obviously, ad hoc, like, peer-to-peer wireless, like ESP Now type thing would work. So they don't need a Wi-Fi connection. They could just all talk to each other. Then you're limited to a number of them. I think it's 20 with ESP Now. The other thing could be that they communicate via some type of connection between each tile, but they can't be a plug-in connection, because you can't take one off the wall if it's connected on the sides. And it can't be, I'm not going to do anything like IR senders and receivers talking to each other between panels, because I don't think that's the right thing. Yeah, so that's something I need to consider as well. If I could make them, if there was a bus where they could communicate to each other just from a data, like a UART between the two pins, right? But then each one would have to have its own unique ID. Anyway, whatever. Lots of things. Tongue and groove, edges for alignment. On the back, on the LED part of it, possibly. It depends on how it's being mounted to the wall, which I haven't solved that yet. Like, you wouldn't want these falling off. They'd have to be, like, screwed to a wall somehow. But anyway, lots to think about. Yeah, the problem, I think, potentially the problem with IR is we're talking about sending, receiving, and 4 points, right? So top, bottom, left, and right. 4 unique points. They have to be 4 unique points, because you need to know which way you're sending to. Anyway, and they're going to be too close together. Like, IR can't be touching. CAN bus is it's a protocol. Like, CAN bus doesn't solve this. It's like saying I2C or SPI. Like, CAN bus is just a protocol over some hardware. They still need to actually communicate with each other, right? They need to touch each other. 2 wires. So, no, it's not a speed thing. CAN bus can be 5 megabit, 10 megabit. Like, I don't think that the issue isn't speed. I mean, IR would be slow, potentially. The issue is the connectivity. Like, you need wires touching to do CAN bus. If I could do wires touching, then it could be anything. It could be UART, could be whatever. The protocol's irrelevant. In this case, CAN bus won't give me any benefit, right? Because the distance it's got to go is 0. No, because it's not no. It doesn't solve 4 directions, because I can't have one CAN bus wires. There's no place to put all those wires, right? Like, that would mean that you'd have all 4 points would be joined. Like, it's not one continuous bus. It can't be one continuous bus, because you don't know how they're going to orient them. You don't know if this item's on the right or the left, in the middle. Has it got anything on, you know what I mean? So, no, it can't be one continuous thing like CAN bus. It has to be unique, here to here, nothing else. They don't go on to anyone else. Like, so this item has, what am I doing? I'm showing it here, but I'm not here. This item has something on top, so those two are connected. That's it. Nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. These two need to talk. And if there's one here and there's one here, that needs to talk and that needs to talk. That and that don't need to talk. And this one needs to talk to whatever this got connected. It's not CAN bus or I squared C or anything else that is a chain. It's just it's UART. It's two things connected UART. Right, but I can't connect them together. It's not it can't physically be CAN bus the way this has to join up. Like physical mechanically cannot be CAN bus. Cannot be a, like, each of these 4 points can't be on the same bus or even two buses. Right? And it can't be like this way and then like this, and it can't, you know what I mean? It physically can't. Like, the requirement for the product is 1-to-1 only. No, it's okay, all good. Like, I'm sure there's lots of ways of doing different topologies and stuff, but it's not what this needs. It's like, what this needs is this is a mechanical problem, not a what protocol or whatever. It's a mechanical problem that needs to be solved. If I do that, or I just go Wi-Fi, right? I mean, Wi-Fi, ESP now is easier because I could say, let's say there are 30 of them, 50 of them, and I could go, well, you're a master, you're a master, you're a master, you're a master, and then each one has its own slaves, right? And the masters talk to each other, and each slave talks to the master. I mean, and that requires doesn't matter where you move them to or whatever else, that just works, right? But there's potentially inherent latency and potential packet loss on that would need to be solved, right? So, hey Ryan. What we're talking about now is a tiling wall version, right, of my RGB touch that I've been showing today. Whoop.
Right.
So yeah, you might want to go back to start of the stream. Yeah. Now, not only things work, they connect to each other. You've got some is an in and some is an out, and you have to orient them the right way and then connect it on, and then, like, you know what I mean? You can only build, you're limited in which way you can build, right? Like, there's a reason that everyone's shapes are kind of whatever, because you've only got certain sides you can join on, and you know, some of them are in and some of them are out. Well, that's what it used to be. I don't know what the current stuff is. I'm pretty sure it's still the same. The corners can be polarized the same way. Slot car tracks is polarized. These tiles cannot be hexagonal. Shoot yourself now. No, slap yourself. Going by Prime? No, they can't be hexagonal. Hexagonal in no way solves this. It just adds complexity. Like, yeah. It adds complexity for no purpose and doesn't solve any problems. Just adds to them. No, you weren't. You make a hex version. I'll do the square version. Yeah, I don't know what polarizing the corners would do, and there's got to be a physical connection. Like, slot cars require the metal hanging down from the car to touch the metal. Like these can't touch. I can't do plated edges because you'd see the plated edges. Like it would completely destroy the aesthetics of what this is. Like everything has to be behind. So could make a hexagonal version being. You're right, absolutely. Someone can make a hexagonal. It'll compound the problem because then you'll have six directions you would need to have communicate instead of 4. So it would make the problem 50% worse. But you could absolutely make a hexagonal version. You can make an oct won't work. That'll leave holes. 4-side. Yeah, but they need a touch, and these won't touch. Anyway, yeah, something to solve another time. Once I've got the ESP now stuff happening for this, and the picking up of the piers and all that type of stuff for this, that solves a lot of what the wall stuff would be. The limitation would be how many wall plates. And this all could be a pointless conversation because I could end up making only 5 of them. Let's say I get a prototype run of 5. I could end up making only 5 for me, and that's it. And then I don't have to solve any of this, right? So, it would only be a problem to solve if I was actually going to turn into a product. And I don't even know if it would be worthwhile turning into a product, because it would have less purpose than this does, and I don't know what purpose this has. So, you know what I mean? Like, how many people need a interactive wall? I mean, no, wait, take that back. Everyone needs an interactive wall. Everyone. How many people are going to ever want to pay what it costs to put an interactive wall in? There you go. Well, either need to make 5 or 10, because all PCB places have 5 or 10. You can't order 6. And it should be 9. Why 6? It should be 9, because you want it to be a square, wouldn't you? No? Maybe not. It's got to be 16, because then it's got to be a meter by a meter. So 16 is a meter by a meter. That's not that much. That's a meter, right? So that's 16 tiles. It's only a little bit bigger than this. It's only a little bit bigger than this. Wait. No. No, that's not true. It's not just a little bit bigger. Sion, you're a liar. Where's my ruler? Where's my long ruler? You know what? I took it downstairs yesterday. Damn you. I'm a liar. Ignore what I said. That's about a meter. I'm pretty sure that's about a meter. So 16 of them. That's not a very big space. I mean, that'd be really cool to play with, but that's 16. What, at least 3x2, 3x3? 3x3 would be too small. Like, it's really, that's not a wall. That's like a small picture frame. Like, you can do that on a television. Like, I want a wall. I want my logo wall, the whole wall. Okay, let's work this out. 1 second, I'm getting a tape measure. You all realise I'm uncaffeinated. Okay, I need, I'm not even going to be able to measure this. 20, oh my god, okay. 30 by, someone can do the maths. 30 by, wait, that's not right. 20, 24, 24 by, okay, 2.4 meters high. Not that I can reach that high, but let's just say 2.4 meters high by 3.4 meters wide. 2.4 by 3.4 meters. How many will I need if they're 240 by 240 millimeters each? Yeah, I had a cold coffee this morning, which I've only drank half of. What's the pixel distances? Good question. I don't know what my current version is. I don't know. Could be. Does it matter? Doesn't matter. 2.4 by 3.4 meters, and each panel. It doesn't matter what the pixel distance is. I'm talking about how many tiles I need. No, and so each one is 2.4 is 240 by 240 millimeters. Each tile. No. Well, I could, but then I can't manufacture them. 240 is the maximum I can manufacture. And the further apart I make the LEDs, the more it breaks the whole thing. 140 of them, okay? So 140 of them. 576 LEDs each times 140.
Captain Kirk says can't see wall.
Says we're not looking at the wall. That's 100 and oh, thanks. I just lost that. 576 times 140. So that's 80, almost 81,000 LEDs. 81,000 LEDs. Far out. And 140 times 4. 560 touch IC chips. What's 1.6 times 600 for the PCB? What? Oh, right. No, it wouldn't work out that way. The price would be different because I'd be getting... So, unfortunately, like, they can't be penalized, right? So, like buying 10 or buying 50, whatever, like there's no savings to be gained on penalization, which sucks. And the cost of shipping goes up exponentially, which is bizarre. But this, like the stencil cost and all that, that's like there's two stencils in that 600 for 10. Those two stencils work on whatever. I don't have to multiply, so it's not multiplying the 600 out by that. But anyway, by 16, or by 14. Anyway, the point is, we're talking about a humongous amount of money, and then, you know, I don't even know what power supply I'd need to run it. Like, I'd end up bringing the wall down, I'm sure. Okay, I think Sion needs coffee. Sion needs to stop worrying about his wall and yeah,
Right.
need to make a plan for manufacturing these,
Right.
and yeah, I should just do it. Now the cat's out of the bag, I should just do it. 10 CCB was 600, but that's including... It was 640 something, but that was including the shipping and two stencils, right? Those two stencils, I don't need multiple versions of. And the shipping price will obviously... Yeah, anyway. I can... I'll calculate. I'll put it all into JLC later and calculate it all. But anyway, I'm not ordering 140 boards. I need to get one working first, or 5. Thanks, Bear. Me too. I've been wanting to make the wall one for quite a while, but yeah. And the current consumption for all those LED, it would be insane. It would be, well, so they're not all on all the time. That's the problem. The nice thing about the wall, well, apart from the fact that it's 80 amps, no, 80,000 times, yeah, 80. What's 80,000 times 1 milliamp? I don't think it's quite 1 milliamp, but it was 80. It was 6. One milliamp is how many amps? Is point, so it's 1, so 110, 1.01. Wait, that's one too many zeros. Wow, I was gonna say that's 80 amps just in quiescent current. But a panel will turn off the LEDs, power to the LEDs, if it's not being touched, and if it detects a touch, it immediately can turn it on. But that's 80 amps just in current. But the nice thing about a wall is, unless there's like 20 of us trying to touch every panel at the same time, you're not going to have, like, you might only ever have 5% or 10% of the LEDs actually on in any one time, and most of the panels will be sleeping. And the fact is, it doesn't have to go to the roof because no one can reach up there, right? So, yeah. There's lots of savings on power. Can't you make a laser wall detect touches? A laser wall detect touches. I don't know. How could you make a 8,000 million? Yeah, that's a lot of wattage. Are you tall? Can you touch 2.4 meters? Yeah, you know what? I could touch the bottom of the top tile. I'd only be able to just get my fingers on it. Okay, fine. And I'm not tall. Okay, I guess other people can. Sure. Fine. Okay, seriously, spinning out of control here. I am going to go get a coffee and go back to hiding under my desk. This didn't go as bad as I thought it would. I was worried, but maybe more people liked it than not, I hope. And I have no idea, Wagon Loads. Well, you'd be standing in front of the wall. How can it detect a touch here when the laser's behind you? Yeah, I don't know how that would work. Anyway, show what's in our brains. So you can show what's in your brains to the public. You can start a YouTube channel and stream stupid stuff like I do. But thank you all. I appreciate it. Thanks for the encouragement and the input and the whatever nice things to say. 408 what? So, well, it's not 20. It's maximum of 15 milliamps. And that's only if they're white. Why are you saying times 3? What? Oh, no, it's not 20 milliamps per channel. 5 milliamps per channel. So that calculation's wrong. That's very wrong. It's maximum. It's not even 15, because that's running at 5 volts. And these are running at 3.3 volts. So it's... Anyway, it's not that. It's way less than 480. What would a flexible PCB give you? You couldn't do the capacitive touch with flex. I wouldn't think. Maybe. I don't know. There's Right. I mean, possibly. Well, no, you can't do the light pipes. How would you do the? How would you do the 2 layers and the lights and the? Yeah, not really. No, I couldn't see how you do that. That would be a. Yeah. I mean, you could. I'm sure. If you want to throw $1 million at me, I'll work out a solution. How's that? Good deal? Otherwise, my initial gut reaction is no. No, it can't be done. Or, yeah. Sorry, not worthwhile doing. But if anyone wants to throw $1 million my way, I will absolutely attempt it. If anyone wants to throw $1 million my way, I will absolutely make a touch wall. A complete wall here of touch. Okay? Just saying. No matter what it takes, I'll do it. Okay, this is just getting ridiculous. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for watching the stream. Still 41 people sticking around. Wow, 3 hours. Appreciate it. I will just, if you want to get in on these, I'm only going to make probably a short run to start with. Honestly, I probably won't even make more than 10 or 20 of them to start with. So, no guarantees of success and refund. No, never is there? Oh, sorry, I should have said $1 million US. Yeah, not Aussie. $1 million US. It's got to be US. Yeah, I buy all my stuff in US dollars. It can't be Aussie. It can't be play money. If you are interested, go on the notify list. I don't know how many I'm going to make, and I'm not putting them on electrons or anything yet until I've got until it's all done and working and I've got them in people's hands and whatever. Oh my god, okay, my brain's gonna explode. Bye everyone, thank you. Catch you all next week. See ya.